All right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Print and Pretzels. As we are going to be hanging out and doing some Orca Slicer tonight, all on the squeaky chair. Hopefully, you guys can't hear it on the microphone, but we got some cool things to talk about tonight. We've got some Snapmaker U1 prints that we got. Woo! It came in this week, so stay tuned. We're gonna let some people get in on the live stream here. We got some cool updates on some 3D printing news that are out there floating on the interwebs. So stay tuned for that. We got our pretzels. Tonight is Snyder's of Hanover Twisted Pretzel Sticks, sour cream and onion. We'll get into those. You're probably wondering what these are, so we'll talk about those in a little while. Let's put that one in front of it. Um, so we've been pretty busy this week. You can see we got our bamboo, a lot of the bamboo printed from last week from Print and Pretzels. We made these bigger, so we'll talk about that and some fails, but still can be used for the studio props. So, excuse me. Still getting over that cold. Every time I get a cold, for some reason, the cough is the last thing to go. So, but you can see we're still doing studio upgrades constantly. We've got our little tiki dudes here on our poles that we printed in the multicolored, not on the Snapmaker. We did print those on the P1S out of wood PLA. We're trying out a new 0.60 millimeter nozzle for wood PLA, and it's turning out fantastic. I don't get those restriction errors on the EMS anymore, so that's good. So we'll give it a few minutes for people to join us here in the live stream, and I'll catch up with you in just a few minutes. All right, so we're ready to roll. David Walton, welcome to the chat. Yes, we did get a new toy, and man, are we excited. We did have one failed print on it. I'll get that here for you in just a second. I'm noticing that Pet G, even with that BQ new bill plate we got with it, still has a little rough time because we don't have that enclosure. Pet G really likes an enclosure, not as much as ABS does, but we had some lifting happen on the bill plate, so uh, we're waiting for that modular enclosure to come in the mail that we ordered. Uh, we have to print the parts for that, but the acrylic is coming in the mail. Uh, you've probably seen some of that on some of the other content creators out there doing their mods for that top hat. And it sounds like there has been a delay. Now we'll get into the 3D printing news. There's been a delay on a couple of different projects for printers here in the studio. So first, let me give you guys an update on our frozen Arco. So finally got somewhere with, I shouldn't say finally got somewhere. Frozen support has been super helpful on this matter, actually. For the Frozen Arco, it appears that the reason why ours is not updating properly is that the engineers have gone into the back end of the machine and it is missing a chip on the board that it needs. So we're getting the main board, a new main board sent out to us here in the studio. I don't know how long it takes. I don't know if it's coming from their US warehouse or if it's coming from overseas. But we're gonna have to replace that. They did offer us to have a new machine sent out to us, but I don't have the original packaging anymore as it's been 6 months. And they did offer us to send the machine first and then we send it back in a box. But I think the main board swap, and I can make video content on that, uh, is gonna be the easier route overall. If not, then they will send a new machine out afterwards. And that way I've done the troubleshooting for you all. So that's the first update I have for the Frozen Arco. Second, if you are a backer on the Frozen Arco, you may have gotten an email last night or the night before. And remember probably about 4 months ago, we were doing a live stream and we weren't really happy with the Hall sensor. Well, Frozen is going to send out a bunch of new Hall sensors to everyone that, no, not everyone, but a majority of the backers of the Frozen Arco, if their models qualify for it. If you don't get that email and you still want to reach out to Frozen, you can reach out to their Frozen support, and they'll investigate it with you and see if that's what's causing any issues that's going on with your machine. So we got the email, so we're going to get the Hall sensor as well. So got some parts coming for the machine. Great news, because that means I can swap out my Hall sensor, because right now it currently has a I can't believe I'm about to say this on a live stream. It currently has a spring from a Bic pen in it. Yes, a Bic pen, the clicky pens. I cut it in half and put it in there, and it's been printing with it up until we got the chroma kit and can't print anymore because of the updating. Dante is knocked out. I can't wait. Okay, so we just dropped a video for you guys. We had to do some editing on it because it was pointed out that Bamboo did revise their wiki, and I didn't catch it. I haven't looked at their wiki maintenance in a while. They did revise their wiki for the guide rails. So it's no longer do you use grease on them. You are supposed to use that oil on those rails. So we redid that video, portion of the video, and then sent that back out to you guys so you can view that too. But the Dante sleeping nut, our next video is going to have a ton of cat cameos in it. No spoilers, but it's in the back half of the video. So if you really like those cat cameos, stay tuned. That video should be coming out later this week. 2 in 1 week. I know you guys are probably super excited. So, and then we also, after that one, we'll have that IBOS review video, unboxing and initial thoughts video coming out for you. And then we got some more things on the back end that we're filming too. SCOTUS is still happening. I have not forgot about that. We've got a whole box full of things to unpack and go through for that video. And then we're also going to do like a Bamboo possible Snapmaker video. Not comparison, but just things that we see on the machine. And I'll give you guys a sneak peek on that. My screen is mirrored. Oh, thank you. I did some recording today, so I had to mirror some things around. So let's swap that around. Transform, and we're going to, oops, not that. I want this bottom one. We're going to transform. Flip horizontal. How's about that? Does that look better? Snapmaker U1 should be over there now. Well, I mean, it probably still would be there if I pointed it there. But yes, as Colin pointed out earlier, we are putting the Snapmaker U1 in the Bamboo Sanctum for now until we can get a power station over on that side. I really want to have our multicolored printers. That's just because there's a lot more, not necessarily money, but like time involved in multicolor prints. So I want to have a power station wherever our multicolor printers are. It doesn't hurt me as much if our single color printers go down when the power goes out, because it's just one color and it's usually white that I'm printing in white pad G. If not, we'll get a power station eventually for that side of the studio. So that is why we are going to have the Snapmaker over here for a little while, because it's on the same power station as these machines. And that power station, we did a review video way back. We'll probably do another one here, probably in a couple months. But can run all of these machines you see behind me, the A1 Mini, the A1, the 3P1Ss, and now the Snapmaker for about 3.5 hours if there's no power. So that covers us for power loss issues and things like that. So, and just to note, if the stream does go down tonight, you guys, it's because we have high winds in our area here in Ludington, Michigan. So just be prepared. If the stream does go down, it's because we lost power. I'm printing this squirrel on an acorn, 11 hours on the U1, 24 on the X1C. So let's get into that section of tonight's video. There was another update that I wanted to talk to you guys about. The Arco. What was the other update that I had in store for you guys? I don't know. But for the Snapmaker, there's a couple things. I'll give you a sneak peek. If you've got the Snapmaker, you can verify this. But on the back of my machine, there is a 4-pin connector, which means possible AMS, maybe. Are they planning for that? That would be cool. And then also on the top, there's a 6-pin connector. My guess is that's probably for whatever heater that's going to go in the top hat. So that's planned on there. But those connectors on there for the accessories, it would be super cool if they released like an AMS unit for this machine for those tool heads. That I would be super excited. I don't know how that would work, but I saw that port in there and I was like, they got to be planning something. They wouldn't just put that there and not use it at some point. But the prints that we've done on our Snapmaker E1 over the last, we got it, we got it on Thursday, the day after the live stream. I was like, man, but we did record the content of it, and I'll do an unboxing at some point. I also have recorded the maintenance videos for this machine, so that'll be one of the videos that I'll have coming out shortly, probably in the next 2 weeks. Because I don't really see anything out there. I use the Snapmaker's official content. It's for the guide rails and how to lubricate those pogo pins in the back properly. But anyways, let's get to some of those prints. So the first print, I've been waiting months to do this print on our machine. And yes, we will get the Snapmaker, I promise, or Orca Slicer. I haven't forgot. We have 2 hours. The first print that I did it with Snorka, Snapmaker's Orca version. And this is the prime block for it. And it's for the cherry blossom dragon. I was super excited for this because I wanted to print this since I've owned a multicolored printer, but there's so much filament waste with it. It wound up being like 3 times the amount of the model. But I printed it as big as I could on the build plate. And this is what came out on it. I am super excited. You can check out the short video that we posted earlier this week on this. It just turned out so amazing. I would have never printed this on any of the bamboo printers that I have just because of the amount of filament waste. And the only filament waste that came out of the machine is this and 3 little perch poops for the initial printing. And that is insane to me that we have gotten to this point, and insane in a good way that we've gotten to this point. So thanks, David. The next print that we did was what I was talking about a little bit earlier on the live stream. So PETG, in my experience, needs a little bit. It doesn't need an enclosure, but you'll have less fails on it. You'll have less lifting on the build plate. And this next print that I did, it was a 27-hour print. I got 24 hours into the print, and then the wings finally started lifting off the build plate. But I printed it in PETG, but in those gradient filaments that I really, really like from Strong Hero 3D. Let me grab this for you here real quick. And I'm just sad that I didn't finalize. But oh my word, did this thing come out cool. This is, I mean, just look at those colors. Like, it is insane. Strong Hero 3D makes some great PETG when it comes to those. And I just used the Sunlu PETG profile in Orca Slicer. And it just is slick. At some point, I will go back, once we have a full enclosure, I will go back and reprint this in some other colors. And it is crazy that these colors. So what I'm talking about, where it started lifting, these wings, I mean, they're very thin where they connect to the build plate. It's hard to see it on camera, but it right here, right at the top is where it started lifting. And yeah, it's just It was so disheartening, but also just to see it come out this far, I mean, it is crazy. So that's what we did for PETG. Tested it out, had some lifting. Uh, I'm sure if I probably use some uh, bill plate adhesive, it would probably help. But with this new Snapmaker U1, I don't really want to put any adhesive on it quite yet, if I can help it. And then finally, I switched over to Orca Slicer profile because I wanted to see, okay, what's the difference? I can't really use the Sunloop PETG profiles or PLA profiles in Snorka because they're not available in there. But I switched over to the Orca Slicer profile, and my purge tower got smaller. Uh, the height is smaller because the model is smaller, but you can see the width is smaller. And I mean, it could be a difference in just because the model is a little shorter in height, but it this one, excuse me, Dante, little buddy, is the one that literally just came off the printer about 30 minutes ago. And this is our Koi Dragon from Cinderwing 3D that just came off the printer. I mean, I would have never have printed this on any of my P1Ss just because of the filament waste. This is 4 colors. There's white PLA from Sunloop, and then I have a voxel PLA. It's abyssal red. It's got like it's hard to see. It's just the little spots. Then there is another orange gradient that I did for the fins, and then finally I did the red-black gradient for the top of the fins from Strong Hero 3D from their PLA. So this just turned out slick, and it is huge. I mean, it's I'm just baffled by the size of this thing that came out. And again, those the amount of filament waste, if we would have printed these out, first of all, I wouldn't have been able to print them this big because the build plates are 20 millimeters smaller in each direction. Yeah, I think in each direction. So much smaller. And the filament waste would have been atrocious. But boop, that's the only filament waste I got for it. Thank you, Snapmaker, for making this invention. And at some point in the future, I'll probably grab another machine because the material savings is astronomical. Not to mention the amount of filament swaps. Uh, it takes like 3 seconds for this. You'll probably see it swap a few times here. I'm printing another version of this koi dragon. It's going to be a mermaid dragon. So that's what we got on there right now. Colin, I'm currently printing Gridfinity stuff on my P1S. Stay tuned for that next SCOTUS episode because we're going to cover the Gridfinity to SCOTUS adapters that we have here in the studio. I don't have them. Oh yeah, you can see them in the corner over there. They're holding up the bamboo plants right now, the Lego bamboo plants we have. Uh, and it turns I think there's up to 6x6 shelves that you can slot into the SCOTUS system. So stay tuned for that because there'll be some Gridfinity stuff on there. There also should be. I haven't printed it yet, but there also will be a multi-board to SCOTUS adapter in that video as well, just to because we're planning some stuff for this Alpha Centauri side, some LED cool stuff, and I want to be able to put that in that video too. Just sent an email. If you ordered another, they are coming in March now. Oh my word. That's not too far away. They must be getting. All right, so that's the other section of this video I want to talk about before we get into the Orca Slicer stuff. All right, so I don't think bamboo is going to sit on their hands much longer with it comes to this price point where the Snapmaker U1 is. They have to have something coming in the next 2 months, I would think, to compete with this. This is a budget multicolor printer, and when I say budget, I mean mid-budget, not low budget. That $700 to $1,000 range. That is the range I'm talking about. This is the only printer that fills that has no waste. Uh, if I were new into 3D printing and I knew I wanted to do multicolor printing and I had the budget for it for a long-term into the hobby, I would get the Snapmaker U1 because Yeah, it's 4 colors. I can't do 16 colors like I could with the Bamboo P1S, but there's no filament waste. The material savings alone is going to be a pretty big deal. So that's my partake on that. So Bamboo, I don't think they're going to sit there for very long without having some sort of uh, option to get into that price point because there's a gap there from the P2S to the H2D. There's a big gap there, and there's no filament waste option. Um, Colin, I'm going to share my screen now. Last week, you talked about how excited you were for maybe the A2 refresh. I don't have an A2 refresh for you, but I do believe that this project that I'm about to show you guys is what the A2 is going to look like. And this is currently a project from a 3D printer company that I don't really know much about. Uh, but this is what I'm not saying back this project. That's all your own decisions. But this is what I think the A2 refresh is going to look like long term. So let me share my screen here. Hopefully the screen capture is not mirrored. It does not look like it is. So I'm going to minimize my screen here, and we're going to go over here, and I'm going to drop this in the comments here, or in the chat, so you guys can see too. This is from All3DP. So look at we're getting Elegoo Centauri Carbon advertisements on this printer. Uh, so this is the multicolored toolhead option that you were talking about for the A2, Colin, last week. We're gonna scroll down here. So this is what it looks like. And what are they calling this? I can't remember what they're calling it. Quadro. They're calling it the Quadro. And it's gonna start on a Kickstarter. I don't know when they said here. I got an email about this. That's how I know about it. I don't know how. But they're going to start this as a Kickstarter, but you can lock in for a $20 buy-in for lowest possible price, launch price. So I would encourage you to check this thing out. It's going to be that these tool heads are going to slide from side to side, whatever colors they have, and they'll be able to access the bed whichever. I would hope. I don't know if they've engineered it to be this way, but it would be cool that if while one side is going, the other side could be going. If there's green over here and there's blue over here, it could print the green here and the blue here, and it just you could have two tool heads going at once. Hopefully, they don't run into each other. That would be a bad problem. But Colin, that's what I envision the A2 is gonna come out as with this tool changer. So shout out to you on that. I know you're excited for that type of thing. So we got that going for you. Let me turn on the screen capture here for you. I'll give you guys a quick little shot over in the Centauri Carbon or the Alpha Centauri area. That has changed a little bit since last week. We got some of the remainder of the shelves put up there. I got some fidget things that are out there just to take up some of the real estate. And far at the far end, you see some of our stackables that we've been printing for some of our art fairs. So, and then you see some more filament that I got up there. All that is in all of those filaments that are in the box right up there is some new PETG white. So that's our quick little recap over there for the Alpha Centauri area. Oh, and if you own a Elegoo Centauri Carbon, I will let you know that if you have an issue like we do on this far left machine, where on the nozzle, I can't really show you right now, but when you go to swap out the nozzle, the hot end, there's a connector on there that over time will wobble loose. You can't replace that connector. Right now, the part's on back order. So if you want to get it, you have to go through support. So Elegoo support to get it. So that's an update on that. That was the other update I wanted to give you guys. So let's get one of our pretzels out here. Hope you guys are excited for your U1s, your other multicolored printers. Gridfinity is an awesome system, Colin. I need to eventually print the print the Gridfinity basis for the B-roll drawers. Colin, excuse me. Yes, every once in a while, I'll switch over to the Alpha Centauri. I do want to build out these two sets so that we get some differences from week to week. last week I talked about eventually my plan. I don't know how how life is. Sometimes things don't go to plan. But what I would like is we have the Bamboo Sanctum here. We have Alpha Centauri that's got all of our non-bamboo type products in it. I know Snapmaker's over here right now. Once we'll get a power station over there, we'll get that over there. Then I would like to have what I at this time I'm going to call Sector 7. And it'll be another section of the studio down here where all the products that we're trying out that we're not sure if we're going to keep them or we're doing a review on them, unless they're like dedicated to a machine like the AMS stuff. That's where those will land at. So we'll have that going. And then finally, I don't know when this will happen, but my plan is to build a little cat sanctuary for like the intermissions, like during breaks, to where the camera's just focused on where the cats are hanging out, so you guys can get some entertainment while I am not there. So that's your to answer your question. I do plan on streaming in other areas of the grotto. We'll get more of that going once we get more of the cameras set up. I still don't know if I want the the Alpha Centauri camera where it's at, or if I want to put that in a more centralized location. It just depends on how wide I can get the camera to go. All right, so let's get into some of that Orca Slicer stuff that we were talking about. Last week somebody asked me about Orca Slicer, and I want to show you guys because it took me a minute to figure out how to put my Snapmaker U1 on Orca. So I'm going to screen share here real quick. I'm going to click on Orca Slicer. Whoa! Guess I should have waited. I'll wait until that loads so you guys don't get the infinite screen of death. Someday I'll figure out how to not have that happen. I think it's about having a second monitor. Orca Slicer is still loading, guys. Sorry. But while that loads, we printed these last week. Well, sort of. We printed a very small version of these. So when I printed the other ones, the bamboo shoots last week, this is one of those things. And when you picture something in the slicer and you print it out, sometimes the size proportion doesn't line up. So I printed these at 400% size, and I would say 80% of them came out perfect. Like this one came out great, printed perfect, awesome. But some of the other ones, there you go. The tops kind of didn't finish. But luckily for me, can still use them together. Well, as I say that. So I'll have to glue them in place. And I started doing it. So my goal for this is these bamboo shoots will go in front of these poles. And below the tiki totems for the studio, just to have some decorative flair to the live streams. So that's what we're doing with these after we get the Orca Slicer going here. So, and if you guys have any suggestions on what we can show for Orca Slicer, drop them in the comments or in the chat. So that way we're not missing anything. So here's my Orca Slicer. Oops, let's put screen share on. So here's my Orca Slicer right here. So here's some things that we printed. Here's that Tiki Totem. That I got off Maker World to put in the studio here. There's that Koi Dragon. Let's get over the prepare screen here. Excuse me. Again, sorry guys about for the cough. I do have a leftover cold that I'm working on. You can see I've already added my Snapmaker machine to Orca Slicer called the Snapdragon 1, because maybe in the future we'll get some more dragons. But if you want to add your machine in here, you're going to go to click and edit preset. I think. Let's find out. So that is not what you're going to do. First, you're going to have to add the profile. So I believe you're going to have to click here. And it takes a minute because it's got to load the profile for the entire database of Orca Slicer, which includes the Snapmaker U1, the Frozen Arco, the Centauri carbons that we have, and the bamboo printers. Note to the bamboo printers, I do not think you can send anything to your bamboo printers through Orca Slicer because of that firm, or the bamboo is locked down their stuff to Bamboo Studio. I don't know if you're able to do it if they're in land mode or not. I haven't tried that. You might be able to, but I don't know. I do know that I have my A1 and A1 Mini in land mode because I want to be able to use my Panda Nomis on them. So once this loads up, you're going to go to your preferred printer. So, I mean, there's everything on here from LEV Centauri Carbon to, I mean, all of these printers. It goes back as far as the Neptune 2s. Actually, I take that back. It goes all the way back to the LEV Neptune 1. So you'll go down here to Snapmaker. Here's all their printers. And this is just an example. And theirs is right here, the U1. So you'll click on that. 0.4 millimeter nozzle is, excuse me, the only profile they have for it currently. They are going to send out bigger size nozzles. I do have some of the 0.6s on order, so those will get to us eventually. Just because I want to be able to print like in the hardened ones, I want to be able to print wood PLA and glow filament through this machine. So you'll click confirm there. It'll take you a minute because it's got to parse it from the database and load it up. Mine's already loaded, so there's that. So then you're going to go to, I'm going to see if I can't do this here because I don't want to show my IP address on the live stream. So you'll go to this little doohickey here, the connection button, once you get your profile added in here. So you go to your printer profile, Snapmaker U1 0.4 nozzle. If you want to add your printer, you go into here, click your connection. You'll name your printer like we did. Like I said, ours is Snapdragon. This would be number 2 if we got one. And then you'll leave it on Octo Clipper because that's currently what it can use to connect to. And then you'll take the IP address that's in the in the settings of your printer and put it in here. So like 192.168.4.12. That's just an example. And then once that's done, you'll click test. Ours is going to fail because that's not a printer on our network. But it'll respond and say, hey, your printer's good to go, and it'll load it up for you. You won't get this message if you, in theory, do it correctly. So we'll click out of that. Click out of that. So that's how you add your printer. And then it'll pop up over here. Instead of being just a preset, it'll be over here, ready to go. All these right here are our Neptune 4 Pros I've at one point in my life owned. Once I got upgraded to the Centauri Carbon, those were no longer as useful to me because the Centauri Carbon just saves me so much time with the simple auto leveling feature. And then of course you have your regular presets that you can go in here, and then of course here's our Arco. So that is just how to add a printer to Orca Slicer. If you want to be able to add a filament, we're going to get to that in just a second. I want to check the chat. Let me turn off screen capture here. Make sure I'm not missing any of the chat, that we're doing pretty good. So we'll go back to Orca Slicer here, turn your screen capture back on. And if you want to add filament profile to your Orca Slicer, assuming you're using a brand that's already in the database for Orca Slicer, you're going to go to this little doohickey right here, set filaments to use. Again, it's going to take you a minute or your computer a minute to load sometimes because it's got to parse the entire database. And this is where I was having problem with Snapmaker Orca. Currently in Snapmaker Orca, there is only the Snapmaker profile. I think there's Polymaker, and then there's generic. So in standard vanilla Orca Slicer, You've got all these. Printer. Here's all our printers that we print on. And your printer will show up here if you've already loaded it into the slicer like we did earlier. Then you have the filament type. You have all of these to choose from. Some of them I don't even know what they are. ABS glass fiber, I know what that one is. I'm not sure what the difference is between ASA and ASA Aero is. ASA carbon fiber is what that stands for. And I've never even heard of what PA is. So I've been printing for a while, but my experience kind of ends at ABS/TPU. I don't think I've ever printed with ASA actually. So, and then you have your vendors. You have obviously the all generic. I don't know who those two are. Obviously, I know who Bamboo is. I know who Elegoo is. Don't know who those are. Polymaker, I know who they are. You have Overture, I know who they are. Snapmaker, Sunlu, of course. Use that code BeGlorious if you are ordering from Sunlu, because we do have an affiliate code, which gives you a little discount and gives us a 4% kickback to help out the channel. And then also eSun, I am aware of. So if you find your material and vendor, you can go down here, and some of them aren't up here, but are already down here. So like Flash Forge, they have filament, but it's not up here. So there's your Flash Forges, your generic ABS. I always have the generic ones checked. I think they're checked by default too. And then you slide on over here. Okay, so there's Bamboo. And then you slide on over, keep going, keep going. There's Elegoo. We've got some Elegoo filament here, so we have that checked. I'm trying to make sure I'm not missing any of that. I do have Overture, PETG somewhere here. Oh, is there not a profile for Overture PETG? Interesting. So there's not an Overture PETG in here, which is interesting because I have clear Overture PETG. Panchroma, that's a polymolecular filament. That's why it's a little early here. So those are like the beautiful colors that they have out. So then we have the Sunloos. We got our Sunloo PETG, Sunloo PLA Plus, 2.0 PLA Plus, Silk PLA, and Wood PLA. Those are all I have in the studio currently. So that's why those are all checked. And then you have Snapmaker's filament. And then looks like Valmont. And then last but not least, eSun. So you check those boxes and click whichever ones you have, click confirm, and then you'll be able to go into your filaments here and see all your selections. There's all the ones that we selected. So if you want to print in some new PETG, you select that for this color and put let's see what we can put in here. Open project. Well, there's the Koi Dragon we were just doing. This is a single color Koi Dragon, and this is how small it is before we blow it up on the blue. Oh, interesting. It showed up multicolored. So, and then you change your filaments in here if you want to change it to Sunlu PLA Plus, for example. Now that I don't know, let's see. Usually for like the Bamboo P1Ss and some of the other multicolor printers, you can't print in two different types of filament at once. It'll throw an error at you. Let's see if the Snapmaker, we select our Snapmaker build plate. That's funny, that's the colors that it changed to. So if we select Sunlu PLA Plus, and then like, let's say we want to print the black in Sunlu PETG. Let's see if it throws that error at us, or if it's possible to print in the two materials on that machine. It does not look like it throws that error for us on this machine yet. But it may take a minute for this, just because the computer's doing so much right now with the live stream. Let me pop back over to the Streamlabs here. PA is nylon? Oh, I wonder why they call it PA then. These pretzels are really good. They're like the best of both worlds. And again, these are the Snyder's of Hanover twisted pretzel sticks, sour cream and onion. It's like the best of the pretzel, but also the best of a sour cream and onion chip. It's really good. Let's see if that's loaded up here real quick. Nope, 50%. So nylon is owned by 3M, I think. Oh, okay. That would make sense. And we still do have our ice water in the cup here. I just wanted to have some actual ice in it because by the time the end of the live stream hits, the water's a little warm. So get on to assembling, excuse me, assembling our bamboo here. And if you guys are ready, we can submit any questions you have in the chat while we relax and do some assembly. You can ask me anything about the studio, anything you have questions, an Orca Slicer. And if I have the knowledge, I'll answer it. And if not, maybe the chat can help us out. Chat family. I think these will look really cool up here as bamboo clusters hide in the poles and with some LEDs behind them. And if you're wondering what filament this is, it is. Oh, and by the way, guys, I did get my 3D gloop in the mail, so that's here. I'm not going to use it for this because it's expensive glue, and this is just for decor purposes. You know how long this can stand up by itself without falling over? Till a cat walks by, I bet. So you can see some of the stringing that happened on this. We had to pull some of this off in order to be able to glue it all together. Iceman74, welcome to the channel. Welcome to the live stream. Hope you're doing well on this wonderful Wednesday evening. I need to do that one later. Just doing some assembly for some studio decor. Oh, that reminds me. I wanted to show you guys what your thoughts are. I'll get you a poll question here in a second. And I say poll question, I'm holding a bamboo pole. So let me see if I can't get this pulled up for you guys in the chat here. Over on Maker World, I found it really cool. Okay, user profile, browsing history. So I want to get you guys' opinion on something I want to put over in the Alpha Centauri area. I just got to be able to pull it up real quick. I ran across it probably earlier this week. Maybe I'll have to find it on my collections. Yeah, here we go. So let me share my screen here real quick. Screen capture. So I was perusing Maker World. I found this really cool light bearer system. Let me put it in the chat here. I'll give you guys some of the photo. I'll give you the link too, so you can check it out as well. What do you guys think about putting something like this in the Elegoo Centauri Carbon area or the Alpha Centauri area? I'd have to print the multi-board adapters because this goes with. Oh, maybe not. Maybe I can just put this channel in there with some 3M strips or something. But I mean, it just looks really cool, like space agey. And I think it would look really cool if we had LED strips with that had motion going through them, like it was pulsing. So let me get you off a screen share here real quick, and I'll put that poll out there. As you guys can see, the Alpha Centauri carbon, Alpha Centauri area. Should we put the light bearer system in the Alpha Centauri recording area? If I can spell system correctly. There we go. Throw that poll out there for you. I just thought it'd be really neat. So let me see if I can't walk over there and describe it to you guys as I'm doing this. Again, sorry for the coughing. So I'd have to put some sort of that Gridfinity adapter, or not Gridfinity, multi-board adapter, or just adhere them to the SCOTUS panels and have them just run up here through like cyberpunk wiring. I think it'd be really cool. Another thing that I'd like to do is I reached out to Blueprint 3D to see if we can't get some arc reactors, light boxes to put behind here, just to make it look cool. And light boxes don't really cost that much to print; they're minimal filament. So, what do you guys think of that idea? I think it'd be really cool to have in the studio, just to have the flare over there for the space age Alpha Centauri area. Get you guys back over here to me. Looks like everybody's liking the idea so far. This was one of those 3 a.m. things. I'm scrolling through Maker World because I can't sleep. I think I want to make these 3 tall for now. Use up all this Gorilla Glue clear I have that I thought would be a good idea for those things behind me on the wall, but it wasn't. At some point, I know I'm going to knock this over. It'd just be cool to have these up behind for a prop for the shelves to help hide the uh, modern looking B-roll shelving. It's supposed to look like we're in a bamboo forest, is what I envision for this side. And there's other pieces I have to print for this, such as the leaf points that come off the shoots. But it's the reason why I haven't printed them yet is because to print those, it costs a ton of filament waste, especially at this size. Um, but that's why we have the Snapmaker now. I'm gonna go ahead and end that poll. I think. Let's see. Did I end it? Yeah. Iceman 74. I actually was just talking about that earlier. The Hall sensor replacement. So you did get that email. We got it as well. For those of you that have just joined recently on live stream, some of our 3D printing updates. I'll go over the Arco with everyone again. Our update for the Arco is twofold. For our personal machine, the reason why we can't update our machine is because the engineers went into the machine via remote, and it looks like we're missing a chip on our board when it shipped. So we had two options. They were either going to send us a new machine, and we had to send it back in there, the old one back in that box, which means I would have to take my Pentashield off and put it on the new one, and that would be a lot of work. Or they could send me a new main board, and I could replace the main board. I opted for that option because it seems like it's the more simple option, and I can also film it as content for maintenance purposes for the channel in case somebody else ever has to do it. Um, uh, and then the second is that Hall sensor. So we got that email as well. Excuse me. We did make that announcement earlier that if you do get the email, definitely get that. If you remember a few weeks back, and close to a month now, we had that trouble with our Hall sensor, and it looks like Frozen is finally, maybe not finally, but like they're acknowledging that some of the machines, when they go through the updates, the Hall sensor isn't up to par with whatever updates they want to push, so they're going to send those out. Now, I hope what they do when they send those out, they ship them to their warehouse first, and then the warehouse in the US here ships it to us. Because if they do it the other way, we may get tariffs on our little Hall sensor. I got some UPS notifications on some tariffs that I got. Some tariff bills I get to pay. But I'm pretty sure that's what they'll do. They have warehouses here. Excuse me. Next. Have you heard about Tool Trace AI? It converts tools to Grinfinity. No, I haven't. Colin, if you have that link, drop that in the chat or send it over to me at Facebook or email thegloriousgeeks01@gmail.com. I would definitely be interested in that because I have a ton of tools I'd love to put into the Grinfinity system and just be organized here in the studio. Iceman 74. Also got my one U1 and still no Chroma Kid. I'm right there with you, man. I got my U1. I am printing like a mad person on it. I got another print going, another 24-hour print, and my Arco is sitting over there turned off because I can't use it. So I feel you. Definitely feel you on that one. The machine's great, but I can't print now because I don't have I don't have the capabilities to update. So it's just kind of shelf weight right now, unfortunately. So I feel you in that pain point. So that's the updates we have for the Arco. I did tell you or tell us all earlier, Iceman, if you look at the back of your Snapmaker machine, there's two things that I'm going to put hopefully a video out pretty soon on. One, there's a 4-pin connector. What does that mean? Well, AMS units, at least for Bamboo, have a 4-pin connector. And Elegoo, they were planning on it. I don't know if they're going to continue doing it. Their AMS units, supposedly, they have a 4-pin connector on the back of the Centauris. And now we have one on the Snapmaker. Does that mean Snapmaker is going to do a AMS unit for their Snapmaker U1? I don't know. And then there's a 6-pin connector on the top of the machine. I believe that is going to go to the heater that's going to be in the top of the top hat. So those are the two things I noticed on my machine when I got them. I was like, oh, well, you look at that. They're planning something for that. Because I would love, it's the only gripe I have for the machine currently, other than that PETG is a little hard to print with. The only gripe I have for the machine is the filament loaders. I'm really spoiled when it comes to loading filament with the Bamboo AMS units, just putting it in there and just going. It's very similar for the Snapmaker U1. It seems a little bit more tedious, but then again, I also have the Centauri carbons, which I actually got to fully manually load those. So that seems to be somewhere in the middle of it. At least when you put it in there, it feeds it mostly up in there. But you still have to go through the interfaces to do it. So we're loving our Snapmaker. If you don't follow us on for our shorts here on the channel, if they do an AMS tool changer, that would be wild. Iceman, I if they don't do an AMS tool changer, I don't know what the 4-pin port would be for. Maybe an like LED accessory or something. I don't know. It just makes sense to me that those spool holders themselves aren't motorized. So at some point, do they make an AMS unit that can sit on the side that's 4 spools per tool changer? Because that would be awesome. Uh, that would make 16 color print if they do 4 per tool head. That would be I don't hold me to this, but I don't think I've ever printed anything more than 6 colors. So to have access for that with minimal waste would be awesome. Uh, now, if they do that, there's going to have to be some sort of like purge waste system modification you'll have to do with the machine, I'm sure. But that 4-pin connector is there. Yeah, the time it would not like if it's preheating for those 4 for whatever color is going to go through it, and it just it would be crazy. The only thing I could see innovation wise that would improve that system is if there was 2 tool heads going at once that can print separate areas um, of the machine. I got to make sure I don't knock over my bamboo here. But I think there's some additional innovation that Snapmaker has planned for this machine. Um, and again, if you weren't on the live stream earlier, we were also talking about what I think Bamboo is going to be coming out with shortly. Uh, Iceman, you weren't on the live stream at that point, so let me drop that in the chat box again. Check out this printer. I think this is where the A2 refresh is going to go. It's not from Bamboo, but I think this is the concept that the A2 is going to have. Just because they're not confined by the uh, enclosure on those systems. So, but I think, like I said, I've been saying it for weeks now. That X2 series or P2C or whatever they're going to call it, that's got to come in right around the same price as the Snapmaker U1, and hopefully that's what I'm holding out for before I contemplate getting an additional printer. Uh, is what's Bamboo going to put out next? They can't leave this question unanswered. If you watch in Orca Slicer while it's printing, Snapmaker already is heating the next color while the current is printing. I had one print with 4 colors, and at one point it was heating them all up. That's insane. That is cool. I didn't pay attention to that, so I appreciate that, David. That is an interesting observation that I didn't notice that it's preheating. I mean, that's why it's so fast. Those color swaps are so fast. Like, that is crazy. Just to think, I mean, it was 5 months ago. No, not even that. It was October. 3.5 months ago, we were only talking about this printer in concept, and the fact that they got it shipped out so quickly uh, tells me that they were planning to do this. They just wanted to have the uh, option to go forth from Kickstarter. So, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see more companies do this through Kickstarter, things like this. But I would be careful with Kickstarter printers because they're not guaranteed. Like that one that I just put out there on the chat. Uh, that's technically a deposit you put down is $20. I'm not saying I did it because I haven't done it yet. I'm not sure if that is even a type of printer that I'd be interested in at this point. But conceptually wise, I think that's where the A2 refresh is going to go. But that printer is going to go through Kickstarter at some point, I believe is what I read in the description. And maybe it'll be popular. Maybe they're ready to ship out like Orca Slicer or Orca Slicer. Snapmaker is done with their printer. Or it could be like the Eufy make. It's a printer that doesn't exist anymore. Or no, was it the Eufy make or was it the Anchor printer? What there was a printer that came out on Kickstarter that never came out. Or it could be like the Frozen Arco, and 2 years after you back it, it finally gets to you, and you're still not printing with color yet. There's so many different variations that could happen. Um, I am glad that Frozen is standing by their stuff though, because that's important that they put it out there and they're still helping their users, and that shows that they really care about the community. And I appreciate that from them. Well, there it goes. This piece is being painted. I'm gonna have to redo this one later. These ones that printed out with the stringing and the top part that didn't go very well. Anchor make that disaster. Yep, you are correct. I couldn't remember if it was Eufy or if it was Anchor make, but there it is. Anchor make. Yeah. The only good thing is CoPrint has been around. They were selling the multicolor add-on for printers that didn't support it. Uh, I know they've been around, so I think they have the innovation to do this. I just don't. After witnessing what happened with Anchor Make, and I like Anchor. I have their power station for uh, the Bamboo Sanctum here. I I just I'm always leery about uh, Kickstarter stuff. Not saying that it's bad. It just oh hey oh one of our prints done. I printed some Captain's Helm fidget spinners. I gotta do the top for that one later. David, I agree that co-print is more. I'll wait for the final delivery on that one. Yeah, and maybe not even the final delivery. Maybe more along the lines of, hey, let's see you get the Kickstarter. Let's see what they got. Let's see what else is coming out at that time. Because Bamboo's going to release something. I'm sure Snapmaker's going to release something too. I can't imagine that they wouldn't release a bigger version of this. So I think there's more things coming in 2026 that are going to really push the envelope. David, I can't wait for the index on the Prusa one and see how that works out. Me too. I'm curious about that Prusa index system. Prusa, to me, I don't know. This is just my personal opinion. Their printers have always been more like the Tinkerer printers, and yeah, I like to work on my printers and get involved in my printers. And that type of printer isn't for me because I like to sit it and let it go. Um, so will the index on their Prusa Core 1, will that be set it and let it go? Like the prosumer is what I think they people some of the terminology is. Um, Even with the Centauri carbons that I have, uh, that is still that's right along the lines of, you know, the maintenance on those is a little more than I would like to have. Especially when it comes to the nozzle swaps, and it's really frustrating that the when you do the nozzle swap, the chip on the board has come off on one of ours. David Walton, you too, man. 350 by 350 with six tool heads. If they don't, I would be surprised because I can't imagine, and I don't know anything about R&D, research and development, but I can't imagine making it bigger with more tool heads would be that much more complicated. And then it begs the question, uh, I think it's the Prusa XL, the one with that five tool changers. Does that push that down in price? If Snapmaker can make a bigger version of this instead of $3,500, will it make that printer $1,700? Um, because the U1, if we had six tool heads with a bigger format, that would be awesome. Because I would imagine if it's bigger and it's got six tool changers, you could put another spool somewhere up top more. I think that would be the only logistics thing that you'd have to worry about is where does that third spool on each side go? I think they'd have to do like a triangle. No, that's not a triangle. I can't make triangles with my fingers apparently. Uh, a triangle shape system where one feeds from the bottom, one feeds from the middle and one feeds from uh, the other side. But maybe that's why that 4-pin connector's there. AMS unit. So I think that's what's happening. So I don't know why I put the lid on this. Get some more of these assembled. If you guys have any tips on how we can get more reach out of our Print and Pretzels live streams, let me know. I'm interested to see on how we can get more people in on the live streams. So I enjoy doing this and answering the community questions and making a mess with the glue. Oh yeah, David, I saw that. There's another David Walton. There is another Kickstarter coming for the Palette Pro that I think has 12 heads, 12 tool heads, and an AMS-like device that holds 6 spools, and you can connect 4 of them. I saw that one, and then I also saw, and maybe it's the same printer, and I'm just thinking of it twice. There is, it's like the Vortex system, but it's not. It's like a circular one that it rotates and swaps out the tool head or the nozzle. I saw that somewhere too. I think 2026 is going to be the year of tool changers slash nozzle changers. Okay, thank you, Colin, for sending that link. I appreciate that. I'll get that checked out. And I promise, guys, I have not forgotten to send out your pretzels to you. I have them. I'm still working on peeling off all the brims that I left on them or printed with them on there. I'm not a big fan of brims, especially if they don't peel off very easily. That's the Palette Pro. Okay, that's what I thought. I might have been thinking of the same printer twice. Uh, it it looks very fascinating to watch that system in theory work. Uh, with all this engineering out there, I I mean it's exciting, but also at the same time, I'm like, where does this all line up? Where is everything just gonna work? Or is some of this theory like the anchor make and some of it doesn't come to fruition? That's the unnerving part about all this innovation. We see that the Vortec works. We see that the Snapmaker tool changer system works. So we have those two. So what else comes to market to be competitive in the space? Because it seems like a lot of these companies are realizing that the prosumer uh, multicolor is a bigger market than most people originally thought. And for us, it's important because we like to sell our prints at uh, local art fairs. I think I think that's going to turn out pretty cool to be bamboo shoots. I think with just 6 colors, it's going to be under 2K, and it's 300 by 300 by 300. You talking about the Palette Pro? If it's going to be just under 2K, that still leaves that big price gap of between we have the P2S that came in at like I think just the units like 5 something. If you get it with the AMS, I think it's like 7, 8-ish. I don't remember it offhand. But that's not multicolor purgeless waste or wasteless purge. The the first printer that is affordable at that price is going to be the Snapmaker. What's the competitor in the area? Does Bamboo release one that's at that price? X2C? Does the palette system come with a smaller version? with less tool heads. I don't know. I think those higher end ones are gonna. There's a market for those too, but I think that affordability bracket between 700 and I'm going to say maybe 1300, 1400-ish, that bracket right there, I think is where the prosumer lives. Not the uh, production person, which is, they can afford because the higher quality, not higher quality, but higher price printers. I think the prosumer is going to be right there in that mid price range. Yeah, that's the H2C territory. That that I see that as the H2C competitor. You're correct. That would be right there. Okay, do I get this one or do I get this one? What's the perks of this one? And there'll be a lot of review videos on the two, I'm sure, eventually with content creators. I'm sure content creators may already have that new Palette Pro. I don't know. I'm sure there's an NDA out there. We don't have it. Promise. We'll get there. But so Iceman, I don't know if I showed these off to you because these are what we printed on our Snapmaker U1. So first print, if you're just joining us on the live stream, was this Cherry Blossom Dragon. It is monstrous. It's the biggest dragon I've ever printed. And I'm doing like a whole or we're doing a whole impossible multicolor print series on our shorts. You guys will see coming out. Or just off the Snapmaker one. Things that we would otherwise not normally print because of the the amount of waste. This would have been 3 times the waste versus what it costs to actually print this. And then we tried PETG for the first time with mixed success. The print quality turned out great, but we had some lifting on the build plate that caused it to fail 3 hours short of the full print. So this one is what we printed out of the Strong Hero 3D PETG. This is the Gem Wyvern from Cinderwing 3D. And those colors just turned out so vivid on this. And unfortunately, these thin wing pieces are what lifted, and the tops of the wings didn't print. So, and because of that, it also didn't print the top of the dragon's back. But at some point, when we get the enclosure on this system, I will go back and print this again, just because the colors just turned out so good. Again, it was a 27-hour print, and it failed at 24 hours. It was rough. Luckily, there wasn't as much investment it would be as if I were to try to print that on one of the bamboo printers, because the amount of filament waste, I think this print it wound up being 400 grams, I think. And it would have been 3 times, if not 4 times that amount, just because of the purge on that other machine. Thanks, David. Yeah, it's Strong Hero 3D PETG. So the gradients that I used on it, the blue gradient is the wings, and then I used 2 different gradients for the gemstone part, or 3 different gradients for the gemstone parts. One gradient was the black gradient for one of the gemstones. Another one was the gem rainbow I used, and then finally the purple one is the purple gradient that they have. So the colors are just fantastic. So once we get that top hat on that, that's what Snapmaker. I don't know how true this is yet. Colin, I'll answer your question in a minute and what we're currently printing. I don't know how true this is yet, but I have heard that Snapmaker is delaying their top hat cover for their unit. If it's true, I'm sure they found something that they weren't happy with, that they didn't want to push out. So Maybe they're redesigning it. If they redesign it, I hope it's kind of sleeker and not as bulky because I don't got very much room between, especially on the other side. The other side has even less room um, for that. So I have heard through the grapevine, not through any official sources yet. Maybe there's an email or something on Kickstarter or something that they sent out. But I saw somewhere that the top hat's being delayed. I did order that, so I'm a little bummed. But if it's for good purposes, I'm fine with it. Colin, to answer your question, so the reason why I really wanted to print this koi dragon, not just for the koi part, that's really cool. The second version of this, what I want to do, and this is what I've really been wanting to do. I want to print this to look like a sea/mermaid dragon. So to me, these little antlers look like coral, and I'm trying out some new filament from Strong Hero 3D. These are their like glitter gradient PLAs. So I did one of them on this to see how it turned out, but I'm doing four of them. One of them is a black green gradient that I'm kind of using for seaweed, and then uh, I take it back. One of the other gradients or the glitter ones is from Voxel PLA um, that I'm using for the scales. So ideally, it'll turn out to be look like a sea dragon um, slash mermaid dragon. So I've always thought that that theme could apply for this dragon, but again, I've never printed this dragon, and I needed to make sure it printed fine first on the machine before I try what I actually want to print. That'll be the next short you see come out for our Impossible multicolor print series. I'm going through every single multicolor print that I've ever wanted to make on, and a lot of it's Cinderwing stuff because she makes some amazing things. Um, on the on the bamboo printers that I've always dreamed of printing, and I'm like, man, this this would be so cool, but it's 4 times the waste of what it actually costs to print. Not anymore. And I really want to put some hours on this machine. I'm tallying up the filament swaps or the printed swaps to say when I do my review video on the machine, I'll say I've had 25,000 filament swaps and or printed swaps, no issue still. Uh, I did want to point out something. This was a user error when I was setting up the machine. I forgot to put the screws in for my print heads on the. It was on the back of the. Excuse me. It was on the print heads itself. You have to screw the connector into it as well. I forgot to do that, and my printer threw an error at me. Like, why is my print head not working? Turns out I forgot to put the screws in. So I put the screws in. We're fine. So, but I've also recorded the maintenance videos or maintenance video for this machine already. I did that either yesterday or the day before, uh, just to get that content out here soon. Because in probably about 2 or 3 months, everybody's gonna be like, okay, why is my printer not working? Okay, or I gotta change out my print head, or how do I lubricate this? Because those little pogo pins are gonna need lithium grease. Riley, welcome to the live stream. Hey, don't worry about being late. We'll do a quick recap here shortly. Thanks for tuning in. They giving those coupons that ordered to compensate, so that's cool. What do you, David? Who's giving what coupons? I missed that. Sorry. And Riley, um, I did the Orca Slicer introduction on the live stream in the first half, so that's there for you. Go back and watch that if you have an opportunity. I show how to add your printer to Orca Slicer, and I also show how to add filament to Orca Slicer. And when the live stream ends, I'll put some timestamps in before I republish it. Oh, Snapmaker is giving coupons for the delay of the add-ons. Question: does the coupon apply for if you want to order another machine, and how much is the coupon? No problem, Riley. That's what we're here for. Spread the word on the Print and Pretzels and let people know that, hey, if you got something we want to, you need some walking through, and we know how to do it, we'll do it together. And if we don't know how to do it, we'll try to learn it and do it together. The only thing, excuse me, the only thing I have limitations on right now is what type of filament I can print with, because I don't have enough ventilation for things like ABS and carbon fiber, because our little furry friends down here in the studio, I want to keep them safe. But once we get that frozen enclosure, we should be able to do that. And that'll wind up over in the Alpha Centauri area next to the Arco, because we're also getting the adapter that connects the Arco and that enclosure, and we can vent it out the side of the house. I think $30 for the top hat. Okay, $30 coupon. Why not? Did they apply any limitations to that? I hope not. Because $30 is $30. Also, speaking of coupons, if you guys have ordered or have the Elegant Centauri Carbon and you have had it for a while, don't forget that I think it's the end of this month that you have to have your selection done for how you want to be compensated for the fact that they still haven't released a multicolor unit for that yet. I chose for our two machines the discount for the Centauri Carbon 2 when it comes out. And that'll probably be in the next few months here, because they have my hope is they'll release the Centauri Carbon 2 after they give us the whatever the coloring kit is for that, or in conjunction with. So if they say Elegant Centauri Carbon 2 is available, oh, we also have this available for Centauri Carbon 1 owners. That would be the ideal for them way, I think, for them to do that. Riley, do you know how to work the A1 Mini? My brother is getting one for his B-Day. It is Bamboo Printer A1 Mini. Yes, actually, funny story. That's another update I got for you guys. You can just kind of see him over there on the edge. He's working right now. We do have an A1 Mini in the studio. And I did just put out the maintenance video for the A1 Mini. So make sure you show your brother that. That was actually the video we just dropped. I actually had to update that video, short story, because Bamboo has updated their wiki page at some point since the last time I viewed it, that for the linear rails, you don't use grease on them. You use the oil lubricant. So that keeps your A1 Mini, and it'll prompt you through the screen when it's time to do that. But that's out there. Combo A1 Mini. So yes, I'm going to try to show you without having to move the camera as much as possible. So A1 is here, or A1 Mini, sorry, is here. And this is the combo unit with it, the AMS Lite. So we do have that in the studio. We do have that available to troubleshoot things with on the live stream. So if they're having questions, shoot us an email or message us on Facebook, and we can definitely help you guys out as much as possible. If we don't have the answers for it, we can definitely make sure we get them pointed in the right direction for whatever issues they're having. So the biggest issue that I will say, if they have the combo unit right away, is you're going to want to order some connector pieces, the spare connector pieces for where it connects to the printhead. Because when you take that off, it's a very fragile part. So Andrew Crabb, anyone knowing any good deals on filament, Sunlu, Polymaker, or really anything else I can buy in bulk? I'm running out of filament. Well, if you buy in bulk from Sunlu, use that filament code, be glorious. It'll get you a small discount on whatever you order, and the other half goes, or not other half, but I think it's 4% comes back to the studio. I don't know. Let me take a look. I think I don't know if they're running any sales right now or not. Right now, filaments. Oh, they changed their site around. It looks nice too. General Filaments, PLA. They've got some pretty low prices for the PLA right now. So right now it's $10.99 on their website. That's the lowest I've seen it in a while. Let me get you that link. I don't know if you need any other additional materials, but you guys are bored. There is uh, Sunlu code right there, or not code, but the link. I'll take you right to the page. But Sunlu is definitely, I can stand by their stuff. I don't really have too much Polymaker stuff. I have some of their glow filament. That's pretty good. It's pretty pricey too. Um, but I love their stuff. I'm getting in touch with their customer service team or their marketing team for um, uh, their affiliate codes and stuff too. Oh, before I forget, the A1 Mini have a really exciting announcement to make about our A1 Mini. Alfie, our A1 Mini, we're going to make him fully automated by the Chi2 box system. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but let me show you real quick. I got to get it pulled up. A1 Mini Chi2 box. Auto. I reached out to them and it's called the Plate Cycler 3. I don't know if this is going to be able to share this in the chat. It might be too long. Oh, no, I can. I reached out to them and they are definitely on board with sending us this unit. Let me share my screen. We'll go over it. Uh, it says $12.99. That I wonder if it's for certain colors. I'm sorry that happened. Oops, I don't want to share that. I wanted to share this. Nope, this. So this is what they're sending us. This thing's pretty cool. So it's got multiple build plates that stack in the back, and it just feeds through. Somebody dropped this in the comments on one of our videos uh, recently, and I reached out to them, and they're like, "Yeah, we'll do this." So Alfie's getting automated. I'm good. I can't wait to get this system in place because I'm constantly printing fidget toys on Alfie. So, but this is pretty cool. It says 5 minutes to set up. I 99% success rate. It is going to be insane. If I can automate fidget toys, that would be awesome. So, um, that's what we got going on here. Uh, you guys, I'll have to change the setup here in the studio so you guys can see it over here in the Bamboo Sanctum. What I think I'm going to do is, because you got, from what I see of the system, David is super excited about this. The automation part of it is gonna be intense. Because right now I'm even printing a fidget toy by Reuben Balls. It's a slime ball out there. I'm printing. I don't know if I have one handy here or not, but um, to automate it to where I can set it and just have the same color filament in all four slots and just shoot them off because it takes 8 hours. The Minecraft fidgets that I printed not too long ago, three of them on one build plate, 30 hours. Okay, after 30 hours, can it just go to the next one? Because that would be really cool. Um, James Callahan, I'm doing the farm loop on my A1 Mini as we speak. Are you really? Welcome to the chat, by the way, James. You're doing the farm loop. That's cool. If you have a link for that, drop in the chat. I would love to reach out to them and see if they have something for the A1 or something like that. Because I automation would be anything that saves me time. It gets me excited because if I can have things printing off in succession for our art fair products, that would be awesome. A couple of other things that we've printed off for the art fairs that have been a big hit in our area here in Ludington. Those jellyfish fidget spinners. I have some sitting out over on the Centauri Carbon area here. Those things that you can't really see them from this distance, but those jellyfish that's sitting out there on the counter, those are things that we've printed off. And if I can automate those, I mean, the same day I took them to the art fair, they sold out. They're just gone. Teachers love them because they're silent fidgets. So it's on Maker World, and then software is browser based. Oh, so you can. All right, let me go over to Maker World. I'll make a note here on so after the live stream, I'm gonna just check it out. And it's browser based. I've seen some of the YouTube content that Farm Loop has got out there. Uh, so I'm gonna have to check them out and see what they got going on because if I can automate the A1 too, and they just they both Wally, that's what we named our A1. If he can be automated too, what I have to do is figure out if we're gonna do that, or when we do for A1 Mini, uh, where do I where do the build plates get sent to? Um, I don't. I think for the A1 Mini, we're gonna set it off to the side over here, on this end, so that when it's done, it just shoots off the end. We'll turn it sideways and it'll shoot off the end, into a bucket. And then maybe for the other side, we'll do the same thing if we can get the A1 going. So yeah, uh if we can sorry about the cold guys again, guys. If we can get that automation going and just you guys can see it shoot it off build plates in the backgrounds of the videos, that'd be kind of cool. So yeah, I reached out to T2 Box for their system. Um, and if we can get the farm loop one going, why not? We'll try it out. Uh, I'll have to check out, see what those files are like and see what they want printed in them. Because and if it's available for the A1, I have a ton of bamboo build plates that fit the A1 because it's the same one for the P1S. Um, I have all the stock ones from the P1S because I switched over to the uh, BQ frostbite plates. So I've got all those. I've got some of the fancier ones from bamboo that I could also work for that. That'd be awesome to be able to have that automation. I think I just glued one of these. I guess I didn't. Oh yeah, I did. So that's super, super exciting. A couple of videos that you guys can look forward to that we have coming out. I just dropped the A1 mini maintenance video. Like I said, I had to re-edit that one because I wasn't aware that Bamboo switched their. It could have been a while ago. I haven't looked in a good minute. Uh, their maintenance for the all the rails from grease to excuse me, the oil. We just released that one. That one's out there for viewing. And then I'm currently working on um, the AMSHT video unboxing and maintenance video. It's a combo video. I absolutely love these AMSHTs. Uh, Spoiler alert, definitely got some cat cameos in there. They're pretty cool. I did not plan that. I could not have planned what happened in there. So stay tuned for that if you like the cat cameos. Um, but we got these units for our glow filament because you're supposed to be able to print like carbon fiber and abrasives out of there much easier. Um, my initial take on those machines are they're great for that, but when you have to swap out that PTFE tube, it's kind of a pain in the butt because it's just like the original AMS. You got to take the tray out to get to the PTFE tube that's underneath. So, but to have one dedicated unit for that material, so you're not chasing down whatever PTFE tube failed in the 4 slots, is just good to have. What glue do we use for filament? It depends on what type of filament, Riley. Um, I just ordered some 3D glue. Let me get you the link there for PETG. They have it for PLA too. Uh, it's a little pricey, but it is worth it, I promise, because instead of just adhering the two pieces together, this actually chemically bonds the materials together, so it fuses it together. Another way that you can adhere materials together without glue is with the Sunlu 3D pen. Uh, a lot of my light boxes, I'll 3D weld the joints together. The Thor hammer that I used to have up in here, I turned a Thor hammer into a lightning light box. That I welded together. Anytime PLA. All right, cool. So let me go over to you guys are on a screen share right now. So I'm not affiliated with 3D Gloop. So there's no kickbacks or anything, but I want to get you the best glue that I know of that is available for PLA. Now, and a little bit goes a long way for this material. I have used this 3D glue PLA before. When I lived in Florida, I had to make my own enclosures for that area, and I used it for there to adhere the pieces together. And let me get this in the chat for you. CA, also known as super glue, also works. Yes, it does also work. Uh, yes, I'll show you the Sunlu 3D pen. I can actually get you an affiliate link for that if you'd like. Let me get to Sunlu's website. Actually, I should be able to get you that link because I have it on one of the videos. I'll put that link in the video for you too. So I think it was under this video. Shareable link. Yeah. So if you want to see what the Sunlu 3D pen is, on this video we have out. There is an affiliate link on that video for the Sunlu 3D pen. And I'll copy the link right off that video for you too. If it'll allow me to apply that long of a link to the chat. Here's the link for it. Yeah, there's the link for the actual pen. I use that pen quite frequently you're basically using it to weld parts together. And if you're really good or if you get really good with it, you can almost make it to where you can't even see it. So, and that's something I had to teach myself over. And let me see, I have a pen over here to show you. Excuse me. Somewhere. I actually just ran across it the other day. There it is. So this is the Sunlu 3D pen. I don't have the power cord with it right now, but this is the Sunlu 3D pen. It is literally pen sized, and it just it's got settings for PLA and ABS. But I've used it for welding PETG too. I just set it to the PLA setting at the highest temperature, and it extrudes it just like it does out of a nozzle. So this part's gonna get hot, but as it extrudes it, you can just weld your pieces together. And if you don't care about aesthetics, if you're just trying to get it functional, if you use super glue on the interior and this on the exterior, to me that is the best seal that I have gotten. Um, and then it comes with a cool little suction cup stand, just like that. Oh, computer's in the way, just like that, and it's pretty sturdy. So I got the blue one because blue's my favorite color. I think there's like white and gray and other options. So that's the Sunmove pen to answer your question. Boom. Uh, if I was doing this adhesing of these bamboo things, pillars, and I didn't care about if the seams were seen, because I'm not that super artistic, I would use the Sunmove pen on the outside of these. But I'm not a super artistic, and I'm pretty sure if I did that on the outside, you all would see it on camera with that and, uh, line mark you'd see. Um, you can hide it really good with black too, black PLA, if you're doing like black on black. So Sunlu also has a really cool. So if you don't have AMS units, uh, one of the toughest things for me when I began 3D printing was to what do I do with all the filament that is at the end of the roll? You'll get down to the end of the roll and there's like 10 grams, 20 grams, 30 grams, 100 grams. Not everything's going to need that small print. And AMS units, you can put it all and mark it all as the same color and it'll just funnel it through. Sunlu makes a connector that you can connect those filament pieces to and actually make an entire roll of filament out of your leftover filament. So that's one of my other favorite tools from them. This was a piece I was going to work on later. No problem, Riley. That's what we're here for on Print Pretzels. I truly enjoy doing this with the community, and I wish something like this was out there when I started 3D printing in 2018. I searched the interweb and there was nothing really out there. The closest thing I had to something like that, and shout out to him, is Uncle Jesse. If you haven't watched any of his videos, he's got some cool um, videos out there. If you are uh, just learning supports, he's got a support video out there and how to program supports. Uh, Long story short on that, if you're doing supports, change your Z height in the slicer to somewhere between 0.24 and 0.28. My favorite number is 0.28 for like PETG and wood filament, because that's what I'm printing right here. Printing a tiki totem. Uh, PLA, you can get around 0.24. Uh, and if you're using PLA, but with PETG supports on the Snapmaker, you can get away with closer because they don't like to adhere to each other. I'm gonna have to go back and just steal the time lapse footage from this assembling all the bamboo shoots, trying to make sure. Uh, if you're just learning like Orca Slicer and things like that, there is a setting in Orca Slicer that and Bamboo Studio that you can change, excuse me, where your seams line up. You can make them random because you can't see it on camera, thankfully. But on the back of these bamboo shoots, I have the seam all aligned together. Sorry, I forgot to turn my phone on vibrate before the start of the live stream. I'm honestly surprised I haven't knocked all of these over yet, or any of the cats haven't. Oh, that's the bottom of one box. All right. Again, tonight's flavor of pretzels are Snyder's of Hanover, twisted pretzel sticks, sour cream and onion. And if you want to sponsor a bag of pretzels and be shout out to, you can check out our print and pretzels or buy a pretzel link. I don't know if I put that in the description. I just realized. Sorry. There you guys go. Abby, the bamboo poles are so that I really want to work on the aesthetic of the bamboo sanctum. So these poles we've printed off. You can check out last week's stream. We went over programming them in the slicer to cover up uh, these metal poles, and I'm gonna run LED strings behind them, so there'll be like an ambient glow, kind of like you see here and over here in the Centauri Alpha Centauri area. I got to figure out what I want to do with the poles over on that side yet, but we're definitely gonna deck out some decor in our studio here, and they'll run right. Can't really see. Oh, I got one over here, and I got one over here. You got some tiki totems that we're printing off. Uh, one of them's for one of our close family members that their birthday is coming up. I hope you're not watching, but that's a project I'm working on for them, and those are the test ones, and I turned them into studio decor. And then we've got part of the poles. There's a part of that file. There is the poles that have the leaf shootouts on. Those were going to be one of the impossible prints on the Snapmaker pretty soon, because if I printed them on the T1Ss or the A1 minis or any of the bamboo printers we currently have, this little piece has bamboo leaves that are the leaf shoots that come out, and they're about for the size, it's probably about that long. That I want to do in dark green because I was looking at different photos of bamboo, and because it adds a third color that's not in a series like this, it goes from I think it was like 80 grams of filament to it was like 400 because all of the color swaps that go from wherever the shoot start or the leaf starts all the way up. It's got to purge every single time it swaps the color. So that's what Snapmaker is going to be doing. I'll probably print off some that'll go in the middle sections here. So the leaves aren't in any functional ways. So that's what they're for. We're decking out the bamboo sanctum. Maybe I'll do that hexagon light system over on the rails on the other side. What do you guys think of that idea? Have like the LEDs because I got a ton of LEDs. I used to own a game studio in uh Florida, and not like a gambling studio or anything, just a like a tabletop role playing game studio, and I have a ton of LEDs left over from that. And eventually, if I can figure out the lighting system, excuse me, a good lighting system for here in the studio, ideally, I'd like to have where I'm at illuminated and have the printer backdrop kind of de-illuminated per se, so that you get more of the LED ambient effects in it. So lots of things going on at all times. This was one I need to fix. And you all get to witness every week a little bit more and more of the studio coming together, which is very exciting because one day people will turn on our live stream and it'll just be a really decked out studio that's all been ideally 3D printed. Uh, I think there's like very very few things here in the studio other than like the actual shelves. I can't 3D print I mean, I'm sure I could, but I don't think they would be able to hold the weight of the machines. Um, and they wouldn't be as modular as the IKEA system is. And I love me some IKEA. Speaking of IKEA, we are in the middle of printing all the stuff out for the IKEA videos that are coming up. That didn't work. There's a piece stuck in here. Thought maybe I could use it like a like a blowgun, but uh, we're in the middle of. I think there's like 15 different pieces that I printed off to give you guys a sneak peek. One of them for the SCOTUS system is a tabletop rotating SCOTUS thing that you can 3D print. Doesn't require any additional wheels or like ball bearings or anything like that. You can simply print it and go. And I have multiple printers. I printed it in one day. It'd probably take you a day and a half to print the whole thing with one printer. And you would have to have a printer the size of the P1S or A1 to print the full because it's a cylinder. It's pretty big. So keep an eye out for that for upcoming content. I'm really surprised those haven't fallen over yet. This box is a little closer to me, so I don't have to reach up far. I'm still trying to think of what I want to do with the cat cam area in order to get them to stay on the camera in the cat cam area. I'm gonna have to stick out some sort of like bed system because the more comfy you can make an area for a cat, the more likely they are to use it. They are our little helpers here in the studio. They keep me company all the time. Except for right now. None of them are on camera, thankfully. Oh wait, nope, Dante's over here. He loves the ambient heat of the printers. That's why it's important to for any of printers that are out without um, like filtration systems, like basic materials like PLA to print with, just to keep the non-toxic or the toxicity down for them. I don't want to hurt any of our furry friends unintentionally. They are our little pals. Huh, Dante? He is so passed out. One of these in this one. So, question for you guys. You can drop it in the chat. What would you like to learn next week? Is there anything that's on your guys' radar for what you want to learn? Ship dragons, Riley? You're gonna which do you have a link for them? Drop them in the chat. I'll check them out. See what's going on with them. For the dragons that I've noticed, a lot of them that I print are from Cinderwings. What the key to them is making sure that the that first layer really adheres. That's why we had that failed gem dragon. That first layer could have adhered better and would probably have been successful. But that was a material that, well, you don't have to print it in an enclosure. It does, in my experience, print better in an enclosure. You can print brims to help you with adhesion, but again, in my experience, brims are annoying when it comes to post post printing cleanup. It's not ideal for me to have to go in through with a deburring tool to clean off the edge of the brim. That's why when BQ came out with their Frostbite and their Glacier build plates, I was a happy camper because those build plates are really good. I know I see some things out there on different sites and stuff. They're like, oh, it's a terrible build plate. That's not been my experience, and I'm not affiliated with them at all. Oh, something else I got to tell you guys that happened to me this week before I forget. Riley, it's just dragons. I just want to call them, and that I will drop them in a minute. I got to find it real quick. No problem. No problem. Take your time. And if you don't get it in the chat, you can always email us at thegloriousgeeks01@gmail.com. So I haven't dropped a video on this yet. I literally got them this week because one of my AMS units were acting up, and I could not figure out why. Um, then I took a look at the inlet ports of the ceramic inlets, uh, and that was causing my feeding issues. Instead of I can't believe I'm admitting this a lot. Instead of replacing them, I went to Amazon and to BQ, and I got the inlet covers from BQ, and it immediately, as soon as I put them on, I stopped getting my retraction errors. Uh, these they have a harder Vickers score, hardness score than the regular AMS heaters do. And even if yours are worn out, I can attest to this because I did it. I was getting every 3 minutes, it was kicking off the AMS and it's saying there's too much friction. I put these on there, put the filament back in it, and away it went. It $9. $9 on Amazon for 4 of them. It got my AMS unit back up and running. I'm gonna have to do a review video on these, but uh, if you have an original AMS, I would highly recommend these. It's just I was baffled when I put them on and it just worked. I'm like, well, because I was looking at, is my AMS spring buffer working? Is it? And it was working, and I had a feeling that the ceramic inlets were it. I don't really want to change them out because it's an in-depth process. I'm going to change them all out at once, all 16, whenever I go to do it. But I'm not at that point yet. So this is keeping me going. So uh, some people say that BQ products aren't great. Some other people swear by them. At this point in time, I mean, I use their build plates. I use these. I use their extruders, and I have not had anything not work the way it's supposed to. So, and if it doesn't work the way it's supposed to, it's probably because of my own error, and then I figure it out, and then I'm off to the races. So, I also use their Panonomi. Uh, so while I'm not sponsored by them or I'm not affiliated with them, I do like their stuff. So that is some excitement we got going on here. So I got 5 more to or 4 more to assemble. Well, technically 2, I guess. And I wonder if I can leave these on the table until morning for the cats to not knock them over. Okay, let me drop my email in the chat for you. Not a problem. Be glad I can help. Got to get over to the YouTube here. Glorious geeks01 at gmail.com. Yeah, send that on over there and I'll take a look at it and I'll have send your question, whatever question you have with the email, and I'll take a look at it throughout the week and see what I can do. If I can't find an answer, I'll point you in the right direction of where the answer is. If you're printing dragons, uh, it's going to be one of the things you're going to want to remember is anything PLA related. It doesn't do well in the sun. If it's going to sit in like a window during the summer or in a hot car, you're not going to want to print it in PLA because it is going to warp. Whoops. Can't get this piece to slide into the other one. So the failure on this print happened with all those little pieces. There wasn't enough support for the bottom of these to attach to the piece like they're supposed to. So now I have to glue them in. That's what you guys are seeing me do, aside from actually gluing the pipes together. But if you guys, I've got a whole. I just looked at the live stream feed again. I got a whole bunch of them assembled here on the camera now. If you guys haven't, hit that like button, smash that subscribe, and follow the channel. Because we're gonna do these every Wednesday night. I truly enjoy doing it, hanging out with you guys. And bring your ideas to the channel, like what you want to try on these Print and Pretzels relaxed live streams. If you guys got questions, hey, why is this PLA? doing this on my build plate, you can send me those emails to the gloriousgeeks01@gmail.com ahead of time. Is probably best if you're having an issue, so that way I can look at it and see. But we can take them live too. So just let me know what things you want to try out. Um, we've tried out some Temu filament from PETG. It scared me at first because going through the nozzle, I thought it was going to break it, but turned out just fine. And so we all hang out and try new things together and enjoy spending the time. So hope you guys enjoy. And if anyone has any suggestions on what pretzels we can try for next week, shoot them over in an email. I'll see you guys next week on the live stream. Be glorious.